Hello, everyone. Let me ask you, when you were growing up, did you have a coach that impacted you or significantly influenced you as a person? Because I certainly did. John Whitmer, renowned coach and author, once said, coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their growth. When I think about this idea, I think it's clear that he's talking about maximizing growth on the field, but I also think he's talking about maximizing growth off the field as well. There's a few ways that happens. First is in the classroom. I constantly hear coaches talking about how the players need to have good grades in high school so they can get better scholarships and play in college. When it comes to college, they need to keep their grades up so they're eligible and can play. It also impacts your career. Sports teaches about communication. It teaches you about teamwork. Those are both skills that employers look for when hiring employees. And third, it impacts you and develops you as a person. I always learn from my coaches about respecting authority, and my favorite coach always said, there's only two things you can control: your attitude and your effort. That's something that I live by. Every single day, I approach it with a high level of effort and a good attitude. And if I do those two things, I know that I'm doing what I can to have a good day, and whatever happens, happens. The CDC said that in 2020, just over half of the children between the ages of 6 and 17 participated in sports. That's 54.1% to be exact. It means that over half of our children in this country are around a coach who's a role model, a role figure. Let me ask you again. If your child participated in a sport, I assume each and every one of you would say that you want that coach to be a good role model for your child. Growing up, luckily, I had great coaches in travel and high school. They shaped me into who I am today. I still talk to these people, these coaches. Might be a, hey, how you doing? Hey, let's meet up and have some lunch and get to catch up and reminisce about the fun days we had when we played. In fact, those coaches inspired me to coach myself. With all this being said about coaching, it is by no means easy, especially if you want to make an impact. Over my experience, which is limited because I'm still young, I've had a lot of experience in that time. Since I was 14, I've been volunteering at a local facility for youth camps for kids around 5 to 10 years old, just having fun with them, teaching them about the game I love, and they always have a great time. At that same facility, I have been a volunteer coach the last 3 years, as well as an assistant coach the last two. Over this time, I've learned several things that a good coach needs to be able to do. First, they need to make sure it's about fun and creating a fun environment for the kids. One way that I do this is if we're having a good practice, I incorporate a game into our drills. It reinforces the ideas we're talking about in the drills, but it also keeps the kids engaged and have fun. They can compete against each other, and it creates an environment where we're learning, but we're also having fun. Secondly, I've learned that it's very important to be supportive. I'm constantly telling my players, hey, if you need someone to talk to, I'm always here, even if it's late. If you need to talk, go ahead, text me, call me, whatever, or speak with me after practice. I'm always here for you. Third is knowing how to handle kids. Coaching a 15-year-old team, I know that I'm going to have to repeat myself constantly. And this is something that I know going into practice, so it doesn't frustrate me. Another thing I've learned, and this helps with mainly children, but visualizing drills. Instead of just talking about it, if I go up there and demonstrate first, they can visualize it, and then they can see what they need to do so they can do it. And once I demonstrate for them, they usually do better. Fourth is coming prepared to not only games, but also practices. If we don't have a solid plan, it's going to be hard to run an efficient practice or game. It helps keep the kids engaged if there's a plan in place so we can quickly move from one thing to the next. They stay engaged, it's a high energy environment, and it's fast moving, so they're constantly focused on practice. Next is teaching the kids. I don't approach it any other way. It's always about teaching them about how to do things the right way in terms of the sport or in life, and giving them my knowledge and trying to make them a better player and better person. If they make a mistake, I pat them on the back, tell them what they did and how they can do better. Overall, coaches are one of the most impactful relationships a kid could have. From a young age, they develop that relationship with a coach, and that can grow and blossom into a great relationship later on. Coaches are often mentors. My last piece of advice: make sure your child is surrounded by a good coach. Because believe me, if that coach can make an impact, it will significantly help your child throughout their life. Thank you.